Hi everyone. Today we are starting with the marketing video. Continuing is the rather right word. It has been little delayed. Sometimes good deals come in delayed packages also. Just joking. This is from end of summer to winters. You can see me in winter clothing, and wishing you all a very happy and prosperous 2021, and bringing in a lot of vibrations and positive informations. We'll start with the second video on marketing, that is the functions of marketing. There are 12 functions of marketing. We'll start with the first function. First function is gathering, analyzing market information. Now, when you gather and analyze market information, what exactly do you actually aim at? The first thing which you aim at is SWOT analysis. What is SWOT analysis? It is talking about strength, weakness, opportunities, and threat. If you remember in the third chapter, business environment, we talked about SWOT analysis. So whenever business firms want to market their product, they have to first gather information from the market that whether this particular product, will it sell in the market? Does it have that kind of a strength? Is there an opportunity for earning profit? Are there some more competitors, or the competitors are such that they would not let that particular product prevail in the market, or remain or stay longer for a longer time in the market? So for that purpose, SWOT analysis, that is strength, weakness, opportunities, threat, all has to be taken up. And what is the weakness of the firm? Where in front of its competitors, where is it lacking? So that has to be considered. Once that is done and you've analyzed your information, or you gathered information, you can start marketing your product. Like you can take example of, you want to start a business of say suppose a fashion studio, a boutique which is called. So in that case, you need to analyze the market, because a lot of fashion studios might be there near you. But to what level are you catering to the market? What kind of target customers are you aiming at? You need to do your SWOT analysis in a proper manner. Let's go to it. It is one of the most important functions. It's necessary to identify needs of a customer and take various decisions. You can do it for the business like rice grains. You can do it for a business. Suppose I'm teaching, that also I need to do gathering and analyzing market information. If I start up a particular kind of teaching place or a tuition classes or something like that, I need to gather and analyze the market, that where does my target customer lie. So this is important for making an analysis of available opportunities and threats, as well as strength and weakness, that is SWOT analysis of organization, helps in deciding which opportunities to pursue. Yes, so you need to keep a plan A, plan B, that is you need to see which plan has the most possible opportunities or feasibility, and that's what you go in for. Second point we're going to continue with is market planning. Now when we talk about market planning, we're talking about the market share. Market share means what? Suppose you want to sell toys, or you are into manufacturing toys, producing toys. Now, what should be your level of production, so that you reach the target customer, and for that, reaching the target customer, to what extent do you want to capture the market share? 10%, 20%, 30%? To what extent do you want to make profit? How will you promote the product? How will you price the product? How will you distribute the product? That plan has to be very much ready. If you're not ready with that plan, there would be problems in marketing your product in the market. So here the concern was on getting SWOT analysis. Here the major concern is on the capturing the market share. To what extent? Maybe in terms of profit, maybe in terms of selling, or maybe in terms of distribution, whichever way, but then how you're going to capture the market, that is market share. Another important function is to develop a market plan to achieve objectives of your organization. That's always profit. It includes aspects like level of production, promotion, price. All this is done to capture large market share. We do it for capturing the large market share. Next, we come to product designing and development. You want to capture a particular market and you want to capture 10% share. What will be the features of your product? What will your product look like? What will be the quality? What will be the size? Variety? All has to be kept in mind. If you're targeting at the target customer is you're manufacturing toys, and the target customer are children, then you have to capture that kind of market, and for capturing that market you have to keep prices that which the parents can afford and buy the market, the children can get attracted to that particular product. So those things are to be kept in mind. Suppose you want to launch a mobile phone in the market, or you want to come up with a new mobile phone which is different from others, so you have to keep the features, you have to keep the quality, you have to offer something extra so that people buy. So that product designing and development has to be done in a very proper and clear manner. Product designing and development, this is done to attract the target customer. A good design can improve performance of the product. It also helps to give competitive advantage. Of course, you want to beat the competition, you want to give your competitors a good edge, so you have to be very well ready. Okay, next we are starting with standardization and grading. Standardization refers to what? It refers to talking about the predetermined standards. See, we've done this in chapter 2, techniques given by Taylor. Standardization means uniformity. So, like for example, if you have ISI product, you know that it is a standardized product. If you're buying gold and it's a hallmark jewelry, you're buying standardized product. That means when you have predetermined standards, what you're doing is you're launching a product which is an assurance of quality, price, specifications, everything. So, standardization refers to producing goods of predetermined specification. It ensures that the buyers that the goods conform to the predetermined standards of quality, price and packaging. It reduces the need for inspection and testing. You don't have to verify anything because the product is of quality mark. Similarly, thus another point comes out is as grading. Now, when we talk about grading, we usually talk about classification of the product. So it is usually done for the product which do not have predetermined standards, like agricultural product cannot have. So we grade them according to the produce. Like for example, you have rice. It is graded as superior basmati, inferior basmati, tota, khanda. So all this specification, all this particular classification, rather not specification, all this classification is what is grading. And you can't determine, somebody is just into producing the rice which is of very high superior basmati, so they'll produce that their crop will be like that. Similarly is with the apples, similarly is with the tea. You have yellow label, green label, red label tea. So all these teas are they are also graded accordingly. So usually for agriculture product, we grade them as per the classification. Grading is a process of classification of products into different groups on the basis of some of its important characteristics such as quality, size. So all I have talked about in both the product is quality, not size. Grading ensures that the product belongs to a particular quality, helps in realizing higher price accordingly. So if your product are of high quality, you get higher price for it. If it is of low quality, you get lesser price for it, and of course they become cheaper as per the grading. Grading is done for the products not produced as per predetermined standards. Like standardization is with predetermined standards, this is not as per the predetermined standards. So you classify the product, when you actually classify the product as not as per the predetermined standards, you're just trying to grade them. Like I told you, agriculture products. Next comes transportation. Transportation is, you've done it already in 11th when you did the auxiliaries to trade, TIVA, you've done it in social sciences also, it's the same transportation. The examples are also the same. The movement of goods from the place of production to the place of consumption, it creates place utility, of course, undoubtedly. Then when we talk about transportation, here some factors have been added, like for example location, like for example you talk about cost or the nature of product, these factors have been added out here. The very good example which we give for transportation is that a tree is grown in Assam and sold all over India. Very common example, and you'll relate to it, so you'll be able to understand it better. That's what transportation means. Of course, we know it very clearly that the consumers are scattered all over the place. They are not exactly at the same place where the things are being produced. And even for the movement of the raw material, you need to move them from the place where that raw material is available to the place where it is required to be processed, or whichever way it is. So for that movement, the transportation is required. It can be by road, it can be by rail, or any other mode. Next we start with is packaging and labeling. So like I told, we're starting with packaging and labeling. Now what does packaging refers to? Packaging refers to a particular kind of a wrapper or a container in which we go and buy a product. Now, if your mother tells you to go and buy rice and you just simply go and the shopkeeper gives you rice and he's not giving you in any packet. Imagine a kg of rice you were holding in your hand. By the time you reach home, they will be left handful. And so will happen with the wheat flour. So you need to be very careful when you buy this product that you're getting in a right kind of package. Packaging is also called silent salesman. Why is packaging called silent salesman? Because it helps in promoting the product. Now how it helps in promoting the product? You go to the market and you see that small bottle of Pond's creme out there in the market and you just find it very cute and you buy it. What happened? That particular packaging, which was very handy, actually it instigated you to buy that particular kind of product. So that is why packaging is called silent salesman. It helps in promotion, it helps in protecting the product, and it also sometimes helps you in assessing the quality of the product. So that is what is called packaging. What is labeling? When you go and buy a product, you have to buy a product and there is a given information about the product, tagline, logo, everything, and a lot of information about the MRP and detailed information about the contents. Everything is given. That label, that reading the label makes you buy the product. So let's come to packaging and labeling. Packaging refers to designing and developing the package, wrapper or container for the product. It is called silent salesman. Labeling refers to designing and developing the label to be put on the package. Now this label which is put on the package provides information about the product. The label may vary from simple tag to complex graphic. Yes, if you go and buy local product, you'll see white color tag and information about the price, only the price written with a pen. And sometimes when you go and buy product, there is some code number is there. That kind is known as complex graphic. There are two, now this is about the labeling. The two are considered pillars of marketing. Undoubtedly, these are pillars of marketing. Get it very clear. We're not talking about the pillars of marketing management. We're talking about pillars of marketing. So these are two considered as pillars of marketing. Packaging is important for promotion, protection, and quality assessment. Like I told you, that is why it is called silent salesman. Now, next we're talking about is branding. Branding is a name, term, sign, symbol given to a particular product. You can go and buy the product in a very simple way. You just go and ask for the category of the product or you just give a brand name of the product. Bhaiya koi pen dena, koi pen dena means they can give you any pen. Category of the product, generic name. Bhaiya Reynolds ka pen dena, bhaiya Parker ka pen dena. What you're doing is you're buying a brand name. So what is the purpose of giving a particular kind of a brand name? That is giving a spoken or verbal particular name to that particular product so that you can distinguish it from the competitors. Of course, it helps in promoting your sales and it helps in customer to buy the product. So branding actually is very, very essential for any kind of product to be sold in the market. It also includes that how you're going to strategize your product, whether you're going to sell the same product under the same brand name or you're going to keep different brand names for different kind of products. Let's come and read branding. Branding is the process of giving a name or a sign or a symbol to the product. This is the definition. A very important area for marketing the product, that is whether the product will be sold under generic name or what do you mean by generic name? It means category of product, like I told you, bhaiya pen dena, or product or brand name. Brand name means verbal spoken part of the product, like you're talking about nothing else but you want a Reynolds pen. So you're talking about the brand name. Reynolds is a brand name. Brand name helps in distinguishing the product from that of competitor. Now I am a fan of Parker pens. So Reynolds and Parker can be easily differentiated. Helps in building customer loyalty, helps in promoting sale, their sales get increased and customer loyalty, like I'm a loyal customer of Parker, like I told you. Brand strategy is very essential as marketer has to decide whether each product be given a separate brand name or same brand name. So when you talk about separate brand name, like for example, Samsung television. So they are told when you talk about Samsung product, they make television, they make mobile phones, but under televisions and mobile phones, they have different categories. Like under mobile phone, they have Note series, they have S series, then they have the A series and J series and whatnot, the list goes on. So that's what is branding. Next we come to pricing. Now what's a price? It's a sacrifice for the customer and it's the revenue for the seller. Of course, you give your price, but you get a product and revenue for the seller. Why? Because he gets money in return of whatever he manufacture, covering his cost. So price of a product refers to the amount of money customers have to pay to get the product. Like I told you, sacrifice and revenue. Very, very important for success or failure of the business. Why? Because the more you earn and the more profit you get, you'll be in better position to cover your costs. So it will be a better idea to have good returns for your product. So that it is an important factor affecting success or failure of a product. Of course, it affects your demand also. The demand of a product or service is related to the price. Why? Generally, whenever the prices are low, demand increases. You've done this in economics or vice versa. There are some factors which are to be understood determining the price, which we will be doing detailed later on, but for time being, factors determining price are to be analyzed properly, like you have to set the price objective, pricing objective, strategy, how you want to, what kind of, you want to capture the larger market share, or you just want to establish yourself in the market. There are some factors which are to be discussed under pricing. Next we come to is promotion. Now what do we mean by promotion? You launch a product and nobody knows about it. Wow. You launch, you manufacture, you produce or whatever you do and keep it to yourself. You need to inform the customer that you are there. Hello. That is a reason why the products are advertised on the television. Why people do personal selling. Personal selling means they come door to door to sell the product. Why? Because the seller has told them to do the same thing. Why products are sold with the buy one get one free offer? Why? Because the intention is to attract the customers to come and buy the product, as well as to inform the product that to inform the customer that the new product has been launched in the market. Sometimes you must have heard the movie stars doing publicity stunts. That's another way of promoting their movie. So that's promotion, as simple as that. And to make good image about the product, you hear that these big businessmen are into donating for some relief area or for some XYZ purposes. What is that? That is creating a good image. That is public relation. So you need to be in the market. You need to keep on constantly reminding the customers in the market that you are there, and that's how you try to promote the product. All right. Promotion refers to informing the customers about the firm's product, its features, etc., and persuading them to purchase the product. Important methods for promotion are advertising, personal selling, sales promotion, public relation, and publicity. Factors affecting promotion are promotion budget and promotion mix. You want to invite, or you want not exactly invite, you want to get Aishwarya Rai for endorsement, budget would be high, you get me, the budget would be low. So you can promote your product accordingly. Of course, business studies teacher, but then I can always advertise. Right. After promotion, there are 3 more points which we have to do under the heading functions of marketing, and then we'll wind up this topic. So the next one is customer support service. Okay, next we are starting is with customer support service. Now, what do we mean by customer support service? You go and buy a car, and the car agency tells you that for 1 year you will get all the services free. Usually it doesn't happen. It is just till the third service you get service free, but then you prefer that kind of particular dealership or that particular kind of brand or the car brand. Why? Because they're providing you customer support service. So any kind of after sales services, maintenance services, technical services which are provided with cost or free of cost, but it helps the customer in buying that, it helps in his buying decision, it is known as customer support service. What benefit do we get out of customer support service? People become brand loyal. They love to buy that kind of product, and the company gets repeat sales out of it, and the product gets established quickly. So starting with customer support service, it is an important function of marketing. It relates to developing customer support services such as after sales services, handling complaints, maintenance services, technical services. Benefits are provides customer satisfaction. Of course, yes, repeat sales helps to develop brand loyalty. Like I am a brand loyal to Maruti because lots of Maruti service stations are available to whichever place I travel to. The service stations are available. So it's easy and accessible for me to actually get my car service in case if there's a sudden breakdown or anything happens like that. Now, storage and warehousing, there's always a time lag between production or procurement of goods and their sale. It may be because of irregular demand or irregular supply. When you talk about irregular demand, it can be of woolen goods. When you talk about irregular supply, it can be of seasonal agricultural products, rather major agriculture products. So in order to make products available, goods are stored and delivered just in order to maintain the smooth flow of goods. This is done to avoid delays in delivery or sudden rise in demand of a product. Like I told you, manufacturers, wholesalers, retailers all perform this function. Of course, they have to store the goods in their go down. Now, next comes physical distribution. Like we talked about transportation, physical distribution is almost the same. It is basically movement of goods from the place of production to the place where it can be consumed. When we talk about physical distribution, two things are to be considered. Who is going to take the product from the place of production to the place of consumption? So who is taking? I'm not talking how it is to be done. Who is taking? So when you're talking about who is taking, that means we're talking about the nothing else but channel of distribution. We're talking about the wholesalers and retailers, or the agents or the distributors. And second, we're talking about the physical movement of the goods from where it is produced and to the place where it is required. That decision when we take, that is physical distribution, but the channel which we use, that is the wholesalers, retailers, they are the channels of distribution. So it is concerned with making the goods and services available at right place at right time so that people can buy them. Two major decisions that need to be understood under physical distribution are decision regarding channel of distribution. Of course, we're talking about who I just now told you. We're talking about wholesalers and we're talking about retailers. We're going to do channels of distribution later on in the chapter. And then physical movement of product from where it is produced to place where it is required. You need to keep that. That is where transportation is required. So the physical movement we are going to, again, that also we are going to discuss later on, but then this is what we are talking about in physical distribution. Factors affecting physical distribution are: first, managing inventory level. You must have enough of inventory or stock available so that whenever demand rises, you can immediately sell the product, or you can give it to your retailers if they're demanding it from you, and if you're the manufacturers, a wholesaler asks you, or retailers, whichever way it is. So you must have enough of stock levels that should be properly stored. You should have a storage capacity, and then you should have your proper kind of distribution system, that is transportation, so that you can move the goods to the place where they are required. This is all about functions of marketing. We'll be covering the next topic in the next video. The next topic will be the features of marketing management. We're going to discuss that, and then we're going to talk about the concepts of marketing. Till then, bye-bye.